Today we're going to be talking about the Spirit Empowered Church, the Acts 2 ministry model. I thought it very interesting that virtually everything that you need to build and develop and duplicate the church as designed by God, the original blueprint is in Acts chapter 2, which I thought was very interesting, the secret sauce for sure. But when you think about the church and developing the church, it's discipleship that we're talking about versus a consumer mentality. The consumer mentality being that you're coming to church to see what the church can do for you, to see what you're going to get out of the church, as opposed to the disciple mentality is trying to be developed by the church. So I put together a couple of analogies here. One is the store employee mentality versus shoppers. So if you are a store employee, you're obviously there to stock shelves and to run the store and handle customer service and do all the things for the shoppers coming in. We should not be the shoppers. We should be the store employees, right? But if we took it a step further into discipleship, then actually being a family store owner, maybe you're the father or the mother or maybe one of the siblings there, but if you are part of a family store, then you're taking personal ownership in the responsibility of running that store and developing the opportunities for shoppers to come in. So certainly as seasoned saints, we should be looking at this more from the mindset of what value am I bringing into the church, and then how can I disciple? More so as what is the church, what is the pastor, what are the congregants doing for me, what is the music doing for me? That brings us into the topic of strong leadership, which is key, strong leadership. But strong leadership without godly discernment will actually multiply the problems in the church. According to Matthew 18:6, there is a much higher level of accountability and responsibility for leadership to be leading in the right direction. Good intent is no excuse for poor leadership, and there's a higher level of accountability. So we have to make sure that we're not just leading with natural gifts and talents of people development or speaking, etc., but we're actually hearing from God, from discernment, leading from discernment after hearing from God in the direction that He would be having us go as a church. So that's key. Also, to ensure that God-given convictions align with the church that you're looking to be a part of. So if you're searching for a church to be a part of, it'll be important to sit down, have a conversation with the leadership there. And the reason why is because there are many churches out there. They all may have a certain direction or conviction that the Lord has put on that key man or woman in that ministry, but that may not be what is the key convictions on your heart that's been developed through the Holy Spirit in your time in the Word and prayer. So that's key. But what do you do? What do you do if you find yourself in a church where what appears to be the direction of the church doesn't align with your convictions? Do you get up and leave? Do you have the mentality of the grass is always greenest where you water it most? Maybe so, but I put together 3 P's I wanted to go through very quickly here. The first P is patience, and then perspective, and then purpose. So patience simply refers to waiting on God, because the truth of the matter is He could be doing something there, and at times we just need to wait on His timing for things to develop the way that we think that maybe they should develop. Other times it's perspective, maybe changing our perspective and praying through that and letting God open our eyes into different things that we didn't see before will give us some peace. And then the last one is purpose. Maybe it is a direction that the church may need to go in, but it's just not happening right now. But what is God doing in us in the waiting? What is He doing in us while we wait? So I thought that was pretty key in this section as well. And then in the section of 12, to multiply disciples and churches, instead of exalting the gifts of the extraordinary, which is human nature, right? You have somebody that's incredibly gifted speaker, incredibly gifted when it comes to music, praise and worship. We tend to exalt these things and honor these things and put the spotlight on these things. But what if we put just as much energy into fueling some of the minor gifts of the multitudes, of the many people that are there? Wouldn't that cause people to buy in more and actually be developed and discipled and be more of the Acts 2 model? I think it would. Let's talk about music for a second. Christian contemporary music and praise and worship music. It was interesting to learn that Christian contemporary music is designed to be relevant to the culture, whereas praise and worship focuses more on drawing people into a closer, intimate relationship with the Lord. But of course, aren't we really trying to do both? Aren't we trying to find ways to be relevant, but also make sure that we're not losing the power and the ability to draw people closer to the Holy Spirit? So that is key. So yes, by all means, let's be relevant, but let's not lose sight of that. And the reason why is because today's complacency very quickly can become tomorrow's captivity. And all of a sudden, giving in here, making a concession there, trying to be too much like the world creates a certain captivity, and then we lose the power of the Holy Spirit, which is not a very good sacrifice at all for simply bringing people in the door. Thanks so much.